take this opportunity to welcome you to the first annual Chris Hesse 90th birthday celebration. And etc., as the announcement said, we'll talk about the etc. a little bit later. The people have set up the food line for us. I want to point out to you before we begin that you will fall into line at that end of the table on either side. We're very fortunate today to have with us, to give the invocation for this auspicious occasion, Dr. J. Walter Jurgensen, and we're going to call on him at this time. Walter?
Thank you, Don. We bow our heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, people from far and near have come to extend thanks to you for making this special occasion possible. A 90th birthday, a recent wedding anniversary of Chris and Vi, other anniversaries which many of you are aware of. We are very humble in this, that we thank you for each year that you add to our life. We're indeed grateful for all the talents that you have granted unto Chris, his wife, his married life, some 64 years, his children, Walter, Al, and Joyce, and the many, many grandchildren. Extend thanks to you for a father and grandfather. There are many other blessings that we know, the talents that you have granted to him. A churchman who has served in many capacities through the years. A business executive who has done much in the area of business management throughout his many years. We thank you also for the many good times we had with them in our entire relationship. So we also extend to them our sincere congratulations, and we wish Chris, his wife, and all the relatives all the blessings that only you can grant to them. And now we want to fellowship together. The food that is placed before us, we thank you for it and the hands that prepared it. May it strengthen our bodies for further service in your kingdom. Feed us daily with the bread and water of life, so that as the years go by, we can continue to serve you as Christians on their way to heaven. Thank you, Lord, through Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Thank you very much, Walter. We're going to ask that our special honorees, Chris and Viola, lead off the line of service.
Just real quick.
Around the truck.
All right, move it. Move it or lose it.
Here, put the cup down. Cup down.
Hello, Jim. Marcia and Bob.
Hi.
Corinne.
My favorite husband.
Could you identify yourself, honey? You're Edith. Tina.
I'm Tina, you got me earlier.
We're gonna get everybody again, I hope.
Okay.
And this is Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
And we got Mr. Bauer here. Oh, hi, honey.
Say hi.
And what is your name? Okay. You're a cute little one. And here's Roy. I know Roy. Fine, Roy. And this is your son, Roy? Scott. Hi, Scott.
My sister-in-law.
Anita. Okay, glad to see you, Anita. Hi, Don. And this is your wife?
Yes, yeah, right.
And daughter, okay. And here's Mr. Twillman Jr.
I'm David W. Don's son. This is my wife, Cheryl.
Okay, and
We've been married a year now, almost.
married a year. Great.
Almost.
Wonderful.
August 9th.
Roger Twillman.
Hi, Roger.
How are you?
And who are the two youngsters here? They're too young. We're too young to talk.
Tell them who you are.
David.
And who's your dad, David?
Norbert.
Norbert. Okay, we'll get Norbert on in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Norb.
And you're from where, Norb?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Very good.
Originally from St. Louis.
Glad to see you. And your dad is?
My mother and father were Lawrence and Esther.
Oh, Dad, you're right. You're on television. I mean, you are.
have to quit and hold in it.
Hey, Ray, introduce yourself again, would you?
This is Ray Eckert.
Hi, Ray. And your wife?
Wife Loretta.
Hi, Loretta.
I belong to him.
Better say Roger.
Right, I belong
Roger.
to Roger.
Roger.
I'm Carol.
Hi, Hulda.
Hi.
Get up with our fork in our mouth.
Mildred.
You've always got work.
Everybody's busy eating except Carl. Hi, Carl. Louis, good morning.
Milton Powell, Chris Hesse's granddaughter's husband.
Great. Milton, glad to see you. And with you is
Logan and
My son Logan,
Logan.
Logan Powell.
Oh, there's Logan.
Chris
Okay.
Hesse's great-grandson.
Chris Hess's great grandson.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. And with you is,
I'm Lana Powell, Walter Hess's daughter. Chris's granddaughter.
oh, you're Walter Hess's daughter.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey.
And my other son Jordan, he was up in the mid Texas.
And your first name?
Lana.
Lana. Oh, of course. I know you, Lana. I knew you when you were a baby. Glad to see you, honey. And we're looking at Martin Hess. Hi, Martin.
Hi.
Laura, how's the food?
Good. Very good.
You gonna have a party like this on Martin's 90th?
Oh, sure.
We're looking forward to it. And who do you have next to you here? Anita.
Walters, Carl, August.
Okay, you're a friend of Chris, right?
We're neighbors.
You play golf with him.
That's right.
Wonderful.
Mrs. Walter.
The wife of the gentleman we just talked to. Very good. Absolutely. Could you introduce yourself to us?
Yes, sir. I'm Ken Kumar, nephew of Chris.
Ken Kamar. Very good. Glad to see you, Ken.
My pleasure to be here.
And who do you have with you?
I have my wife Maxine, my son Timothy, my daughter-in-law Diane, my daughter Beth Ann.
Hi.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm Mort Commeyer, Ken's brother. This is my wife Sue, my son Martin. My other son Frank's running around, and this gentleman's next.
Would you introduce
Dave Kumar.
Dave Kamar. Glad to see you, Dave. And who do you have with you?
I have my fiancee Nancy Carr, and I don't have any kids here with
Okay. We have you on before, but introduce yourself again for us, would you please?
I'm Tabby Heimer, Bob and Joyce Hartman's daughter, and my sister is Holly.
Hi.
And there's Holly. And next to Holly is
Yeah, this is my buddy Will.
Buddy Will. And what relationship are you to Holly?
Buddy.
Buddy?
Yeah.
Friend?
Yeah. Acquaintance.
And you are Al?
This is my cousin, Craig.
Frank is Al Hesse's son.
Craig.
Is that correct?
Craig.
Craig? Craig, okay.
Craig Hess.
Craig.
This is Cloverheimer. She's from Tennessee. She's a great granddaughter of Chris's.
Great granddaughter of Chris.
Great granddaughter.
Great granddaughter, okay.
I'm Bob Hartman,
This is Bob Hartman,
son-in-law.
son-in-law of Chris Hess.
And I'm Joyce Hartman, daughter of Chris Hess.
Nice to see you, Joyce.
Beverly Hess.
Al's wife.
Hi, Bev.
I'm Al Hess. I'm the husband of Chris's daughter-in-law.
Or in other words, Chris's son, right?
That's right.
You forget, Al.
Okay.
And here we have Viola. Congratulations on your husband's 90th.
Thank you. That's a milestone.
And here's our guest of honor. Hi, Chris.
How are you?
You're looking younger than the rest of us, Chris.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I don't know how long tomorrow.
Wonderful. Nice to see. Hey, thanks for inviting us, Chris.
You're welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Hi, Walt.
What do you say there, Richard?
Very seldom we get together like this.
I'm really enjoying the whole party, aren't you?
Thanks. Thanks for the drink before, Walt. Add it to my bill, would you?
Didn't that hit the spot?
Perfect. Perfect.
No bills involved today.
And who do you have with you, Walt?
Mary George, the peacock lady.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Mary. Glad to see you.
Thank you. This is very good.
If you noticed when you went through the line before they were cut, there were two beautiful cakes there, which listed on them the fact that it was Chris Hesse's 90th birthday, and also the fact that there were other people here in the audience who are celebrating their wedding anniversaries this same particular week. And if you didn't have time to read or passed on the wrong side of the table and couldn't make it out, I'll tell you who those people are and what the anniversaries are that we're celebrating. First of all, celebrating their 23rd anniversary on June 29th. And I'm going to ask these people to stand as I call their names, and please remain standing, and let's withhold our applause until all have been introduced. We have Roger and Carol Twillman. Celebrating their 24th anniversary on June 23rd, we have Roy and Julie Bauer. And celebrating their 39th anniversary on June 28th, Richard and Corrine Koenig. Now, in case any of you don't know, all of these people are nieces and nephews of Chris and Viola. And would you believe it or not, that in addition to celebrating a birthday, we're also celebrating a wedding anniversary, number 64, for Chris and Viola, which took place yesterday. Would they please rise? Let's have a hand for everyone. I think that was awfully clever of Viola to arrange that wedding anniversary coincidental with Chris' birthday so she'd never have to worry about missing an anniversary or a gift. Usually it's the man who arranges that, but Viola had a little foresight in this case. I particularly want to thank Walter Jurgensen, Dr. J as he's called by those in the National Basketball Association, for being here with us and for offering the invocation. You know, he and his wife Frida drove all the way from Lincoln, Nebraska, with Walter having just had his injured arm removed from a cast only about 3 days ago. But then it didn't surprise me when I heard they were making the trip, because I remember when Walter was dating Frida, she told me what a good one-armed driver he was. So he had absolutely no problem in making that journey all the way from Nebraska here. But as far as he has come, he does not hold the distinction of being the farthest traveler to come to this auspicious occasion. We did a little survey earlier in the day. We found out that probably, in terms of distance, The number 2 traveler would be Walter Hesse and his wife, who came from Texas. But the person who's come the greatest distance is my brother Robert, who comes from New York City. And so we flipped a coin, and since he won, Bob has the honor of offering the first remarks on this occasion here.
Okay, thank you, Don. And good evening. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you to honor Uncle Chris and to have a free meal. But I don't want to become Maudlin, either Carl Maudlin or Bill Maudlin. He's a cartoonist from World War II. Remember World War II? It was in all the papers. Uncle Chris has been a role model for me. For one thing, during the Depression, when most people were poor, he was rich. I know he had a Stromberg Carlson radio. He told me that flying was a good activity. I bought a plane. He told me it was okay to get off the rat race. I sold my business. Now I hope he tells me it's okay to be 90. And I've been impressed how Uncle Chris told me how he made it to the 50th anniversary. He told me that twice a week he and Viola would go to a restaurant, candlelight, the whole bit. She on Tuesday and he on Thursday. I live on Long Island, where they squabble whether Lilco should start up their atomic plant. But I don't know what would be worse, nuclear winter or St. Louis summer. I was downtown yesterday. I did some shopping at Boyd's. I come from New York. I have trouble saying Boyd's. I found a way to check if a man is from St. Louis. I say 9:05 and ask him what he thinks. And if he says that means 5 minutes late, I know he's not from St. Louis. I asked an associate of mine if she would look up what the origin of that phrase, "I'm from Missouri, you've got to show me," what's the origin? She said she found it documented that it just describes the character of people from Missouri. I said, I can't believe that, you've got to show me. Finally, on age, the man said to his doctor, I know you can't make me young, but I just want to keep getting older. And Uncle Chris, I hope I can hear Willard Scott read your name on the NBC if he lives that long. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Bob. You know, one of the things about observing a 90th birthday is the fact that we all start to think a little bit about longevity. We start saying it's most unusual to be celebrating an occasion like this. But really, if you stop to think about it, the human body is one of the few things in this world that's really designed to last a lifetime. And that's exactly what Chris has done, is make use of that fact. And that's why we're here this evening observing the 90th anniversary of Uncle Chris' birth. At least he's my uncle to a lot of you. He's a father, he's a grandfather, he's cousin, uncle, whatever it might be, sister, brother, not sister, brother. And that's one of the things that I think is so auspicious about this occasion, the fact that we have people here who have known Chris and Viola from so many diverse sources, most of them from within the family. We've had a lot of pleasant experiences and memories over the years, and that's what we want to share here this evening. I did a little research on the year in which Chris was born. Now let's just think back a moment, stop to think about the fact that here is a man with us who is celebrating his 90th birthday. That means, if my math is right, that he was born in the year 1896, 90 years ago. Grover Cleveland was president of the United States at that time. And that particular year was a most auspicious year in terms of a number of happenings. For example, in January, everybody got out their needles and thread and sewed another star on the flag because Utah was admitted as the 45th state of the Union. How many times have we sewn stars on other than for Alaska and Hawaii in our own lifetime? A number of other events took place in that particular year. Some of them maybe have familiar rings. For example, in May, a tornado roared through St. Louis and killed over 400 people in this area. In June, another type of wind activity took place. The Republicans held their national convention here in St. Louis. And you remember just last week, we had a special advanced site team coming through St. Louis trying to check the area out for the next Republican National Convention. Well, it so happens at that convention that McKinley was nominated to be president. The Democrats, not to be outdone, held their convention the following month in Chicago. And guess who they nominated? Walt, you should know that. The gentleman from your part of the country. The silver-tongued orator of the Platte, William Jennings Bryan. And he made a speech. And as a result of that speech, he won the nomination. The speech contained probably the most two famous last lines of any speech ever written in politics. And it went something like this: "You shall not press down on the brow of labor this crown of thorns. You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold." Well, he won the nomination with that speech, and he went around the country making that same talk for over 100 times. They don't write speeches like that anymore, and perhaps you can see why. He lost the election. McKinley went on to win, and what happened? We named a bridge and a high school in St. Louis after him. But that's about all we ever remember about McKinley. But everybody remembers William Jennings Bryan's speeches. Just a few of the things that happened in that auspicious year. But it was also a year of great scientific and inventive activity. For example, in April of that same year that Chris was born, Thomas Alva Edison exhibited for the first time to the public moving pictures in New York City. And then two events that had particular importance in Chris' life. If you notice that one large cake, which mentioned Chris' birthday, it also showed an airplane on it. And in May of that year, the inventor, Samuel Langley, flew a model airplane powered by a miniature steam engine over a 1/2 mile long course. Aircraft was to play a prominent role in Chris' life. The other thing, of course, that was so prominent in his life was automobiles. In the year 1895, when Chris was merely in the pre-production planning process, estimates tell us that there were approximately 300 automobiles in this country, of which only 4 were manufactured in America. Now you think we've got an import problem now, just think back till then. But in June of the year in which Chris was born, about 2 weeks before his birth in fact, Henry Ford produced his first automobile. He and his associates, working in secret, cranked out a prototype model car, and they built it in a brick garage. Unfortunately, they made one miscalculation. They forgot that the size of the car was wider than the door in the garage. Consequently, they could not get the car out to road test it until they tore down part of a brick wall, which they did, and then ultimately successfully tested the car. Not too unusual, really, because as I think back, I've owned a couple of Fords that I had trouble getting out of a garage. But those two events of that year, the development of aircraft, the development of the automobile, were to play significant roles in Chris Hesse's life. We all know that he worked as an executive at Wagner Electric Company, involved with automotive brakes and other products related to the automobile, as well as electric motors and transformers, and also at Cessna Aircraft. What maybe you don't know is that Chris was always involved in one way or another with transportation. I have it on good authority that as he was growing up back in the hills of Jefferson County, I believe he was born in a place called Dry Fork, which you probably can't even find on a map anymore. In fact, my research associates tell me it's really more a state of mind than an exact geographic location. But Chris was born there to John and Johanna Hesse, and he grew up, and he went to school, to a one-room schoolhouse that was taught by his grandfather, Christian Dottenhahn, after whom he was named. Also important to note is the fact that Chris was born in a log cabin back there in Dry Fork. So Chris has all of the qualifications to run for president of this country. The only reason he never did is the fact that in order to run for president, you always have to be unemployed. Chris was always busy working. And so as a consequence, this country has missed his leadership, which we have so sorely needed. But the companies for which he has worked have benefited greatly from that. When he was going to school, and some of you, I'm sure his children and grandchildren have heard this story, he had 5 miles to go to school. Now what he didn't tell you, he may have implied that he walked those 5 miles to school, but he didn't. He rode a mean, ornery little bronco pony named Peggy. And he would go those 5 miles to school, and apparently Grandfather Dottenhahn was a pretty good teacher. Because I think obviously, based on Chris' past reputation and things that he has done, he learned something of importance to him. He learned how to be a successful executive. There also in those days was something magical about the age of 16. And in case we have any young people in the crowd at that time, I have to point out to you that Chris acquired his first automobile at the age of 16. It was an old black. I don't know how many of you remember the black. I'm sure a lot of you do. But anyway, it was built just like a horse and buggy. The only difference being there was no horse to go with it. It was a rear-engine car. It had a small trunk in the back. The engine was under the trunk, so if you had to work on the car, which was about every 20 or 30 seconds or so it seemed, you had to unpack everything, open up the back tonneau area, and then you could get to the engine to work on it. Eyewitnesses tell me the best thing about this car was the fact that it ran very well downhill. However, uphill or on level ground was another matter. In fact, I'm also told that back in 1912 or 1913, when the Hesse family moved to Wentzville, Chris decided that instead of shipping his car on the railroad train with all of the other household and farm furniture and equipment, that he would drive that car to Wentzville. So he headed off out of Jefferson County, took whatever roads there were, and somewhere around here, I guess between St. Charles and O'Fallon, the car broke down for the final time, and he just decided he couldn't do anything more with it. So he found a friendly used car dealer and worked out a swap where he traded in the old black for a mule. And he ended up riding into Wentzville on a jackass. But then that wasn't too important, or didn't make too much of an impression, because Wentzville wasn't going to hold Chris Hesse very long. We all knew that. Along came WWI. That was the war that was fought to end all wars, as you remember. And Chris became involved in that. He was involved with what then would have been the equivalent of the Air Force, I guess. And I never quite understood what his role in that was, because I remember him talking about how he drove a motorcycle all the time. But I guess maybe there is a story there that he can all tell us. But after he came back from that war, he did a little work in Wentzville. He ran an elevator, grain elevator for a while, did a few things around there, worked on the farm, then decided he was going to take off and find fame and fortune in the big city. So he headed off to St. Louis, and the train that he was on, the old Wabash Cannonball, passed by this big bunch of brick buildings right next to the railroad tracks, and there happened to be a sign on it that said Wagner Electric Company. So he thought, why don't I get off at the next station, see if I can find a job there? So he did, and he laid out all of his credentials and everything, and they said, well, despite that, we'll hire you. So he started working there, and he needed a place to stay. So there was a kind of a boarding house right near the railroad station where he had gotten off. And he got himself a room there, and when he came back from work, as he was getting ready to go to bed, he made the mistake of turning the light on and throwing the bed covers back real quickly. And as he looked under the bed covers, it was crawling and swarming with all types of foreign life. Turned out the place had bed bugs. So Chris decided, this isn't what I'm going to be putting up with. So the The next day, who does he run into but Elmer Kammeyer, somebody that he had known out in Wentzville. And he said, Elmer, I've got a problem. Can you help me out? And he told him about this place he was staying, with the bed bugs and all the other problems. And Elmer said, oh, I got a deal for you, Chris. My mother just happens to take in boarders, and she'd probably be more than glad to take you in. So Chris went over to the Kammeyer establishment and told them about his problem. And Mrs. Kammeyer showed him a room and said, yes, we can put up with you. And Chris looked it over and said, gee, that'll be fine. The only problem was Viola and her sisters were not too enamored of the prospect of having another boarder in the establishment. Because all this meant was more work for her and her sisters, more dishes to wash, more beds to make up, just more problems. So she was opposed to the whole deal. Then after a while, after Chris moved in, despite this, she said, well, if I got to do all this anyway, why don't we just end up getting married and we'll do this for ourselves. We won't have to worry about the middleman. So lo and behold, they got married. That's how it all started, just from a bunch of bedbugs crawling around in the boarding house. And as a result of that, what do we have? Why, we have 3 children, 9 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and all of this group here this evening celebrating this auspicious occasion. One of the things I forgot to mention was that as Chris' career was progressing at Wagner Electric, he built his career on a lot of seemingly simple things that I guess his grandfather and his father had taught him. For example, one time he was given an assignment of figuring out why it was that some special heat treating equipment that was being installed in the plant was overheating. And so a lot of specialists and engineers from the firm that was installing that equipment had been sent down there. They just couldn't come up with the answer. Chris went over, gave a couple of looks, checked 1 or 2 things, and then immediately announced that the problem was that the motors that were used in the exhaust fan system had been wired incorrectly, and instead of blowing the exhaust gases away, they were blowing it back onto the units, thereby creating more heat than they were supposed to be taking away. So sometimes simple things are the ultimate that can spark a career. The other thing that I remember Chris telling was something that I just learned fairly recently. That was that after he left Wagner Electric Company, he had made arrangements to buy another business because he was going to start a new career. And just on that very same day that he was supposed to close on that business, he learned of the fact that Cessna Aircraft Company was looking for someone with his particular and unique talents. And so, to make a long story short, instead of buying that business, he went with Cessna Aircraft, became their head of production, began his own personal flying career. And so it changed the course of his life, and perhaps has resulted in the fact that we're here this evening. As Chris was preparing for this occasion, was making plans for it, one of the St. Charles newspaper reporters learned of the fact that he was celebrating his 90th birthday, and they asked him, Mr. Hesse, what do you attribute your longevity to? And he said, well, I think it's due to moderation, to having a wonderful wife, a loving family, and to always being careful in what you do, never go to excess. And the reporter looked at Chris and said, well, there are a lot of other people who live exactly the same way, and yet they don't achieve the same age that you're observing. And he said, well, the only problem is they don't keep it up long enough. Chris is a man who's persevered, who's been with this, doing the same thing, until we have him here today at the age of 90. And we're all looking forward to celebrating the next 90 years with him. At this time, I think some of his offspring probably feel that they've been denied the microphone long enough, so I'm going to call on Chris' eldest son, Walter. But before I do, I have to tell you that Walter, as many of you know, is an ardent golfer. And whenever he has a chance, he and Chris come back, and they always play golf here on the St. Charles course. And it had been a couple of years before Walter had a chance to come back one recent summer and play golf. And Chris told Walter about all of the different things that had been done to improve the course. He said, Walter, it's really a tough course. They've lengthened the tees, they've put in a lot of traps around the greens, they've just done all sorts of things. So they went out that morning to play, and Walter teed up his ball, and just as he swung, the wind kind of gusted up a little bit and blew the ball off the tee, and Walter took a mighty swing and missed. And he turned and said, gee, Dad, you know, this sure is a tough course. So I'd like to present to you the number one son in this family, Dr. W., Dr. Walter Hesse. Thank you, Don. Some of those things you said are really the first time I ever heard them. That bedbug story is very unique. Imagine this whole crowd, or most of them, being the result of bedbugs. Seriously, what does a guy say when his dad is 90 and mom and dad are 64th wedding anniversary? It's really an awesome occasion. And I so dearly love both of them and all of you folks out there. It's very nice to be here with all you nice people. Mom and Dad, I really want to give you my sincerest congratulations. I'd like to recognize my baby brother up here, and my baby sister, and all the other good people out here. And my special wife from Dallas, Texas. We're happy to be up here today. I would like to tell 3 tales on Dad. And Don, you kind of earmarked it with the vehicle story. You said Dad got his first car at 16. Well, I got my first car at 16, thanks to Dad. We drove down on my 16th birthday. It was a Saturday. Went through a number of used car lots, and we picked out one. It was a convertible Model A Ford, 75 bucks. We got that baby home, and I'd never driven before. And he put me out in the lot, and he taught me a few things about gear shift. He says, practice. I practiced that day, and I learned how to drive. Those days you didn't need a driver's license. The next day we had a municipal baseball game in some park in St. Louis, and I was driving downtown St. Louis with about 6 or 7 guys. Kenneth, you were in that car. And Ray Eckert was in the car. And one day's driving experience, the next day you're off driving. Those were the good old days, huh? Another auspicious occasion, and an occasion where I saw Dad, I guess the proudest I've ever seen him. This is in Dallas, Texas now. I'm living down there, and Dad's up at Cessna working for, in Wichita, working for Cessna Aircraft. He's taking his first cross-country flight. Learned how to fly at the age of 60. This is 30 years ago this year. And he comes down there and lands at the airport and visits us for a while, and he's really proud because that first cross-country flight is very, very important. I did a little private flying. Baby sister did, and baby brother did, so we know what that feeling is. Another time in San Diego, he's out there visiting with Mom, and I thought it would be thrilling for him especially to go out to the glider port, which is on the adjacent to the golf course Torrey Pines, where they have that large cliff, and the sea breezes come in there and have an updraft, and all the hang gliders are there, as well as large fixed-wing gliders. And there are several dozen gliders at a time. And we get out there and we're all watching around. I give Dad a pair of binoculars. I said, Dad, just watch him. And he gets near the edge of the cliff, you know, and he's looking up there. And I look back a little bit later. His binoculars are down at the beach. That's Black's Beach. That's the nude beach of San Diego. So in his 80s, he knows where the action is. Hey, Dad, we're real proud of you. Happy 90th and happy anniversary to you and Mom. Is it back to you, Don? Thank you, Walter. I always remember when I was much younger, before Walter got that first Model A, that whenever we would go over to Walter and Alvin's house, we always had a wonderful time over there on Hillman Drive. Then subsequently, they moved over off of Lucas and Hunt by the golf course. And I remember when Walter and Alvin were learning to play golf there, they would just kind of sneak off behind the backyard and start hitting balls around. And Alvin was kind of Walter's caddy there for a while, or so it seemed. And one day that particularly comes to mind, Alvin teed up the ball for Walter, and Walter took a mighty swing and he whacked it. It somehow sliced hard off to the wrong side and hit a rock, bounced up against a tree, ricocheted off another tree, and lo and behold landed about 3 inches from the pin. And Al said, "Gee, Walter, if you'd hit it a little harder, you'd have had a hole in one." So it gives me pleasure to present number 2 son, Alvin.
I played golf with my dad and my brother a couple of days ago, and I think my dad came closer to a hole-in-one than he did. And my sister is right. I won't talk as much to my brother for one reason. I'm not sure this whole affair could be a hoax, you know. He says he's 90 years old. Look around. Do you see any witnesses? But I'll take his word for it. He's told me the truth. And there's just certain things in life that make you feel happy and proud. And Dad, I'm happy and proud to be your son, and Mother, I'm the same way with you.
Thank you, Al. You know, talking about a hole-in-one, I've come close to a hole-in-one many times. In fact, last time I was only 2 strokes away from it. But there is a third member of this family, namely the youngest one, Joyce. You know, that same year that Chris was born, in 1896, so 90 years ago, the famed journalist William Allen White wrote an editorial which was published in the Emporia, Kansas Gazette, which made his reputation. It's called, or was called, "What's the Matter with Kansas?" Well, a few years back, Joyce moved there to try to find out. She's been working in journalism off and on ever since, so maybe she's got the answer. Joyce?
Thank you, John. I think I've heard my dad give a lot of speeches before, and I think this is probably the first one he'll ever hear me, probably the last one he'll ever hear, because I don't like to give speeches. But I too want to offer my congratulations, and I'm really proud to. If I lined up everybody in the world and could have picked, you know, I couldn't have picked any better than those 2. And, you know, a lot of you know, and you probably realize that I was spoiled a little bit. It's kind of fun to be spoiled. You know, whenever I had impetigo, where he would buy me a tricycle, and when I had chicken pox, he bought me a piano to play. It was nice. And when I learned to drive, he didn't get me a car, but I learned to drive on a Cadillac. And once I had kind of a bad front end dent, and it cost quite a bit. And I found out how forgiving he was, because if you want to be real careful with his car. Can you hear me? The reason we're in Kansas is because Dad was plant manager at Cessna, and Bob had graduated and was looking for a job, and they were kind of hard to come by then, and he happened to need somebody to look at a pond for Cessna, and the man that came out was Bob's future boss. He said, I just happen to have a son-in-law who's looking for a job in this field, and so that's why we're 500 miles away. Bob got the job in Kansas, and we really miss being in St. Louis and near everybody. But one of the nicest things is knowing that there's a family out here too. And I really appreciate the sense of family that they've given me. All of you out there, I know when good things happen to us, that you're all happy for us, and when bad things happen, that you are sad too. And that means a lot to me, and I owe just an awful lot to my parents. The fact that I'm here, the fact that you're here, and all of this. So anyway, happy birthday, and many more birthdays and anniversaries too. Thank you.
Well, we've why you were sick so much as a child, Joyce. Now I know. I think we'd be remiss at this time. There's no way we can introduce all of the special friends and relatives who are here. But I think the fact that Chris came from a rather large family, almost all with the exception of one whom are still alive, I think is significant. And I'd like to take just a moment and ask each of his brothers and sisters to stand up as I call their name. And if I can do this in reverse order, I'm going to ask Carl Hesse to stand up, Martha Hesse, maybe I'm off, Martin Hesse, Frida Jorgensen, that is, Hulda Hesse, and Selma Hesse. And we regret very much that Sister Emily preceded them by 1 year ago. Well, I think it's time now that we recognize our most honored guest of all of those that we are recognizing here this evening. And I would like to call on our host, our friend, our relative, a man who not only enjoyed life as he found it, but more importantly enjoyed life as he made it, Chris Hesse.
Thank you, Don. I am thrilled to see so many of you here, and so many of you have accepted our invitation, which was heartfelt. So I think I'd like to make this an invitation good for 5 years from now. Walter Jorgensen, I was surely sorry to hear that your right arm is not in good shape. But this may be a blessing in disguise, because that may be the only thing that will finally cure that the roundhouse slice of yours. I was up there in Nebraska with him one day, and we were out on the golf course, and I noticed that when he teed off, he'd tee off about 15 degrees to the left. He hit that ball and it went flying over the Nebraska wheat fields, but it finally ended up back on the fairway. But he forgot, or never told the ball what was the shortest distance between the two places. This may cure it. Well, as has been recounted by all these illustrious speakers here before, in my lifespan, I've seen many things change, many things happen, especially in science and engineering. But also, I've seen some things that I was not too proud of. But actually, I spanned the time from the horse and buggy to the space age. But also, we came from the open door to the closed door, or the locked door, even electronically supervised. We're making prisoners of ourselves. And we have some things to do to correct some of the good things that we used to have. And we will be a better country if we do. I could go on and on about some things that are not just to my liking right now in this world, but I think I'll just say I surely appreciate your being here and helping me celebrate these 90 years. I am grateful to Almighty God for that, and I'm very proud to have all of you, or most all of you, as relatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Let's all join in a chorus of happy birthday, shall we? Happy Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chris. Happy birthday to you.
Coming, everyone.
Thank you, Viola, for all you contributed today. 5 years from now, that's the date. Mark it on your calendar. Thank you all very much. And thank you, Chris. Okay, the 9 candles on the piano symbolize the 90 years that we're observing. Chris, why don't you and your lovely wife see if you can blow those out for us? Fittingly end this occasion.
And the kids can help.
Well, the kid, yeah, all right. Enlist all the help you can get.
All the kids. Logan, the first one. All right. Roma. Good. Hey! Well done, MC. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, come on in.
Come on out. Who's missing?
Mary George.
Come on, come on.
Nice to be famous.
Well, of course, my mother. That little middle. Okay, how's that?
Oh, hold it, hold it, hold it.
I think everybody's got it.
Hey, Don. Nice work up there, Don. Let's see.
I remember seeing that picture before. Walter is the spitting image of Viola.
Okay, we're talking to Wayne.
Wayne
Hesse.
and Anita.
And Anita. You're Carl's son and daughter.
Right.
Wayne, tell me what you're doing right now, will you?
I'm teaching 8th grade at Lutheran Grade School in South County.
Okay. And Anita?
I'm a CPA with Price Waterhouse.
Wow, that sounds impressive. I would like to show the world how tall Wayne is. Let me get back a little bit, Wayne. Wayne, you're a motorcycle man, aren't you?
Right, just got back yesterday from out in Colorado. Spent a week out there, took the motorcycle out.
You rode to Colorado?
Yeah, pulled a little camper trailer behind the motorcycle.
How many people did you go with?
One friend of mine and I rode out there. We got out there and set up the camper in the mountains. Spent about a week riding around in the mountains.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
How was the weather?
Cool and dry. No humidity at all. It's beautiful.
Very good. Are you an outdoors lady, Anita?
Not really.
So you wouldn't do what he did?
No. I would have flown out. I would stay in hotels. That would be about it. I would
Okay.
have taken the nightlife and go home.
Were you here for the party?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good deal.
Good to see you.
Okay, we missed you.
You wanted to see
I was just outside.
And everybody from all over.
Could you introduce yourself?
I'm Pam, Wayne's wife.
You're Wayne's wife,
Right.
the young lady who is married to the giant.
That's right.
Did you go to Colorado too?
No, I went east while he went west.
What
No, I did. I went to Myrtle Beach while he
Myrtle
went to
Beach.
Colorado.
Myrtle Beach, Virginia.
Right. So,
So which was the best, Wayne?
Pam.
Pam, right. Nice to see you.
it's a great affair.
You're Carl's daughter-in-law then.
Right.
You thought you'd get out of that.
I'm not going to stand here all alone. Come on,
Okay.
somebody join me.
Did you enjoy the party today?
Oh, I did. I thought it was wonderful. Really did. It was great seeing everybody
Are
again.
you going to make it the 5-year hence?
In 5 years? Yes, if I survive 5 years. But I won't hold up as well as Chris.
Nice to talk with you, Mildred.
Well, thanks, Dick.
We met through the media.
Okay, yeah.
One of
we're
my
all-
favorite cousins. Eh?
Well, thank you, bro.
We're both war veterans, right?
Yeah, right. I'm Korean.
Korean? World War II.
World War II and Korea.
One of my favorite cousins, I said.
Okay.
There's a parting shot here before you leave. You're leaving to Denver. Tell me what's happening on your itinerary.
Well, we're going to Denver tonight about 9:40 p.m. for an 8 o'clock meeting tomorrow morning.
And now it's about 7 in St. Louis here. Or
7:20 to be exact.
Yeah, I should say St. Charles.
Right.
You're a busy man, Walt.
And we're happy to do these things. Huh?
Hey, tell me what's happening up in Denver, will you?
Well, I was hoping for some cool weather to play a game of golf, but I saw in the paper today it was 99 degrees yesterday.
In Denver?
So cross my fingers to have a cool day.
And what do you have going in Denver?
I have a meeting with the SERI, Solar Energy Research Institute, advisory board meeting. We're going to try to teach them how to run their shop.
How long will that take you?
2 days.
2 days.
And back to Dallas either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning.
Would you prefer it being wintertime to ski or not?
No, I'm not a skier. I'm a golfer.
Okay. Super. Did you enjoy the party tonight?
It was outstanding, I thought.
Hey, you did a great job on the podium there, Walt.
Well, thank you. Everybody did, and I think Dad really appreciated all the honor and accolades that he got, and the big crowd that came out.
I like your anecdote very much, Walt.
What was that?
Well, the little events that you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, well, it's good. I can tell many tales of him, but I thought I'd picked out 3 that were kind of pertinent to his vehicle kind of passion that he has over the years.
I can think of a lot of colorful things that he's done that weren't even brought out here, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure.
He's credit the movies. Well, I didn't know who they are, but this is Charlie Mama, and I always wanted to ask you now.
How many children did he have from his first wife? He had Ella and the 2 boys?
Ella and Oswald and, you know.
Just the 2 boys. Now, all these are from the second wife.
Yeah, I had 5 of the second one.
Oh, I guess that's right. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's what I never did know.
And hard to keep up with them when they
Oh, for heaven's sake.
get more than one.
You know you're getting shot.
No. That's a dirty trick. I thought he had a team.
I'll hold the bottle up. It's good for your cough.
And we're now looking at Martina.
Yeah. Yeah, have a martini.
Martina pouring a martini. Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Poured a martini. That's right.
Well, the fella at work said her name is some kind of drink. He says it's a Manhattan or martini.
Or champagne or something.
Yeah, that's what he
And here is Viola.
They're very long and they had
Viola,
like a review.
when is your birthday? We're celebrating Chris' birthday today.
Are you really? Mine's in April, April the 14th. Yeah, I was 81.
81.
81, yeah.
No kidding.
81.
Just seems like yesterday.
Colors
You know,
are
it looked
almost the same to me.
anything close to that.
We let your birthday go by for your 80s.
Oh, you did?
Not a
No.
word about it.
You're
No.
older. Yeah.
And you're sitting
Well,
next to Selma.
The years
And I'm
go
so,
by, when you don't want to have any more birthdays.
I'm so busy. It's awful.
I guess they come with
Corinne, would you introduce this young lady to my left?
Oh, please don't.
Would you tell us about yourself?
Martina's daughter.
That we're looking at Martina's daughter, and she will not.
Julianne Bauer.
Julianne Bauer.
Julianne. And it is Julia Ann.
Oh yeah, she's the daughter of Martina Friedadina.
And she lives at Hanley Hills, Missouri.
Friedadina the other day.
Yeah, Friedadina, after Uncle Fred.
Chris, we're on your back porch. On Persimmon Lane, 3130, is it, Chris?
3130 is right. We had 2/10 of an inch of rain.
2/10 of an inch as of when, Chris?
Since yesterday morning.
Okay. And the sun is almost overhead, right?
Right. It's 220 feet from the front to the top of the cedar, to where the cedar trees are.
Okay.
Now the sun is getting dimmer.
The sun has just gone behind a cloud.
Now those 2 purple martin houses have about a dozen pair of birds in them.
If we're lucky, we'll see a bird come out of one.
And there's one sitting there, but it's not moving right. This is a dull time of day for the martin. Early in the morning and late in the evening is when most of the activity is.
Now, the direction I'm looking now, what do I see?
East is this direction. North and south line runs right through the diagonal. That's the dialysis. You see those ribbons flying atop of that ginkgo tree?
Yes.
That is to discourage the purple martins from picking the leaves. They need leaves to put on their eggs to build up the humidity. And they prefer the ginkgo tree to any others, and they kept denuding that. They kept denuding that tree, so I had to put those banners up there to discourage them. There's a bird now flying.
We're visiting with Roy, and your last name again?
Bauer.
Roy Bauer. Roy Bauer.
Right, B-A-U-E-R.
And that's German for land worker? Farmer?
Farmer.
Farmer. But you're not a farmer, Roy.
So, my dad was, so he was raised in, born and raised in Farmington, Missouri.
Farmington, yeah. It's in St. Francis County.
Right.
And Roy is the son-in-law of Martina.
Right.
Who we just saw before pour a martini.
Right.
And you live on Hanley Hills.
in Hanley Hills on Bainbridge.
Bainbridge. Okay, we're sure glad to meet you, Roy.
Same here.
Have you been on video before?
No.
Okay. Tell us about those peaches, Chris.
This old peach tree is in its last stages. About a year ago, half of the tree broke off. But we've had as many as 3 bushels per season off of this tree. And it used to hang way over here. We could just get up here and pick them off. But this is about the last season that it will do it. But there's a younger tree starting up. That's a volunteer tree too, right underneath it, back there.
Oh, yes.
We didn't plant either one of these. They just volunteered.
I'm lucky I can get a picture of that peach.
We can get another shot of this little one. Easier. Those peaches?
Oh, yes. Plenty of little peaches there.
This is the extent of my garden this year. Just
tomatoes.
Just a few tomato plants and some peppers. That's all. Do you know what Damson plums are?
Yes, I do. Actually, Mom has had some for breakfast that we picked out here.
Oh, you picked out here. She's got out. See, here they are again.
Oh, boy.
A lot of them on there.
These are little damsons.
But the trouble is that when you have them, they are so full and the weight is so great that they just break the tree down.
They just overload the tree, right?
There's my bird bath.
Oh, yeah.
That drips the year round.
Engineered to do that, right?
Need some trimming on here. That is a hawthorn. Hawthorn is the Missouri state flower. Get a little closer view of it here, maybe.
Close-up view of the hawthorn flower. Did you say this was a Missouri what, Chris?
It's the Missouri state flower, although this particular one is the Washington hawthorn. A ginkgo tree, which has a fan-shaped leaf. That is an oriental tree. And the flower, the leaves are pretty moisture laden. That's why the birds prefer that leaf to others to raise the humidity in the birdhouses.
And on the top I see some tassels, which you mentioned before.
Yeah, those are to discourage the purple martins from picking the tender leaves from the top of this tree, which they did for several years. And they retarded the growth of this tree to such an extent that it just wasn't getting anywhere until I put these on to scare them away.
Did it succeed?
It did. You can see this year they're growing pretty good up there. Entered on a ledge. I had 20 trees up there.
Those cedar trees are planted on part of your property?
Yes. Our property goes about 5 feet beyond the cedar trees. But the utility company, the electric company, has an easement down the back here for their power lines and telephone line, and also the television cable line runs down there. The box you see back in the brush back there is a house for a flicker, a big woodpecker. These peach trees back here, both the big one against the porch and this little one over to the right near the air conditioner, are volunteer peach trees. They just came up from some stones that were thrown out there. Of the Alberta variety. These two trees in the front yard are bald cypress. Normally they grow in swamps, but they do very well anywhere where they can get any water at all.
Tall jobbies, aren't they?
They are. This one here is a culprit as far as damage to a sewer line is concerned. The roots of that one have worked its way into the house sewer, and we had to have a roto-rooter here twice. The tree to the southwest corner of the garage is a tree that the first year we moved here served as our Christmas tree. It was bald and burlapped and about 6 feet tall, and we carried it in a wash tub into our living room and used it for a Christmas tree. This tree was about this high when we used it as a Christmas tree. That was 21 years ago.
Wow.
This is my mother-in-law, and this is my wife.
And I used to know you when you were a baby.
This is Martina. And this
Martina.
is Julie.
Well, when I was a baby, I remember you, Martina. You were one of my favorite people that we used to see at Chris' house.
You lived on Theodosia and I lived on Martin.
Well, I didn't know you at that time, but I knew you when you visited Chris on Hillman.
Yeah, on Hillman. Well, that was not quite the same time, I guess. A little bit later.
Well, sure nice to see you.
Grandma and Pawpaw Hesse.
And who is that from?
That's from our granddaughter down in Tennessee.
Pawpaw, huh? That's Grandpa, right? That's
Yeah.
That's grandchild talk for grandfather.
Yep. Although she's the mother of 2 children now.
Wow. And we're at 3130 Persimmon.
Persimmon. Mail is junk mail.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
That's nice.
I shouldn't talk.
Sister and brother, yeah.
Would you play us a song?
Well, I haven't
You could
played
play.
for a long time now.
Look,
Get
hey,
up
just
here, you can play it.
please let me plead with you. Just play one little stanza.
my.
We're going to have a little rendition by Viola Hesse on the DeKalb. DeKalb.
The
Yeah,
entertainer.
that's a Wurlitzer.
You think it has somebody?
Beautiful.
That's the only piece I could play without notes.
You know, I should know the name. Read me the name of it, would you?
Black Hawk Waltz.
Black Hawk Waltz. Beautiful.
If I would practice a little every day, Could get with it, yeah.
I would.
Yes, goodbye, yeah. Have a good time in Columbia.
You better hold on. Wouldn't want you to fall.
This chart to my left shows the ancestry roots of our family back to the 5th generation, and was prepared after much study and research by Lana and Milton Powell. For instance, here is the lineup of the Hesse ancestry. Christoph Hesse, my great-grandfather, born February the 2nd, 1792 in Germany. My grandfather, who came with his father at the same time, born the 23rd of February in 1824 in Germany, and he died on the 3rd of January 1914 and is buried in Wentzville, Missouri. And my father, John Henry Hesse, born 28th October 1869 in Jefferson County, Missouri, died in September of 1945 and is buried in St. Louis, Missouri. And that brings us down to my own self. On my mother's side, the Dautenhahn side, Karl Anton Dautenhahn, my grandfather, was born February the 5th, 1845 in Schneeberg, Germany. And he died in September 1914 and is buried in Wentzville. Then my mother, Johanna Dautenhahn, born 26th of October 1875 in North Judson, Indiana, died February 7th, 1954, and buried in St. Louis. And that brings us down to myself. My wife Viola's side, we'll start with Friedrich Wilhelm Kammerer, born the 7th of August, 1822, in Seelingdorf, Germany. He died December 29, 1895, and buried in Wentzville. Her grandfather, John Kammerer, born 19th of February 1850 in New Mella, Missouri, died 25th December 1827 and buried in Wentzville. And then her father, born 22nd of September 1877 in Wentzville, he died January 2nd, 1913, and buried in St. Louis. That brings us down to Viola herself.
I'd like to thank Uncle Chris, my godfather, for letting me make this little video of his 90th birthday and for permitting some liberties in its editing. Thanks to Beverly for arranging for the beautiful cake, in fact 2 cakes that you've seen and tasted. And thanks to Chris's granddaughter Lana Powell, and her husband Milton for researching and compiling this chart of Chris's ancestral lineage back to the old country. So thanks, Lana. I hope you folks enjoyed the videotape half as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. Thank you.